in some sense, this example is an inverse of the previous one. So in the previous example, we ran an execution, then we inspected the result using the Metaflow card and the UI, and then if the result was promising enough, we assigned a tag to it. In this example, we assign the tags automatically. So here, I just added this one snippet of code here in the existing flow that looks at the accuracy of the model automatically here in the code. And if the accuracy is high enough, it retrieves the currently executing run using the Metaflow client API. And then like using the Programmatic API for tags, it adds a tag called promising model to the currently executing run. So the tagging happens automatically in this case. And now you might wonder that what's the point of assigning tags instead of using artifacts? Well, the simple reason is that artifacts are immutable. They are basically in some sense a kind of a immutable representation of the history, which can't be changed. History is what it is. But you can change the interpretation afterwards. So for instance, although the runs and the accuracies and like whatever it might be, they are what they are, but you can interpret the results in a different way and add and remove tags based on like post hoc analysis. So let's see how it works. So now like we can execute the code, like 3 candidates run. And in this case, the accuracy is 0.84. And now imagine that you're a data scientist working on this project. So maybe there are many things that you are iterating, like maybe you want to try different hyperparameters. Like here, we can try something crazy. Let's change that and see what happens. Or maybe it was actually the maxed features that we want to be changing. I think that there's an option for log2. And maybe as a sanity check, we can also just see what happens if we change the random seed. Maybe the results are just random. The point here is that data science is fundamentally an iterative process. The development of these projects is an iterative process. And we keep like trying different things. We develop code, and it's nice that Metaflow keeps track of everything automatically. So after a while, like we have a bunch of these iterations. And now what we can do is that, let's say we can open a notebook. And I have this notebook here that I have prepared for this example, where we import like the Metaflow client objects. And now Metaflow allows you to filter executions based on a tag. So we can say that, okay, instead of looking at all the runs of this flow, let's only look at the runs that have the tag promising model. And now we can see that in this case, we have 4 executions that have the tag here. So, and they are listed right here. Now, of course, like it's kind of hard to say like what's going on here. So what we can do is that we can actually look at the artifacts now that are stored inside these runs. So we can look at the parameters, like we can look at the accuracy values. We just collect all that information in a few lists and like create a data frame out of it. So we can actually see what's going on. So in this case, now we can see all those values, all the parameterizations that we were testing, max depth, the features, the accuracies, and so forth. And obviously you can see that this is in effect experiment tracking, what we are doing here. And now we can visualize the results using standard pandas tools. And well, now looking at these results, looking at the accuracy numbers, it's kind of obvious that there's that one experiment, like one execution that actually like doesn't look that promising. And now, thanks to the fact that tags are immutable in contrast to the artifacts, we really can't change the artifacts and the fact that, like, let's say the max depth didn't yield good results. Well, it's a fact of life, like we shouldn't change that. But we can actually change the interpretation that this is a promising model. So what we can do is that we can instantiate the corresponding run object, 81217, so that's the run, right? And now what we can do is that we can actually say that this is not that promising after all. So we can remove the tag promising model. And now if we go back here, we can see that the list is shorter, like we have actually removed that one execution that like didn't show good results. And now a couple of things worth noticing here. First, we have the Programmatic API that we can use to assign and remove tags. And also, thanks to the fact that we have both the artifacts and the tags available, you can use Metaflow quite handily for experiment tracking.